welcome.
Welcome, everyone.
So it's 12:01. I guess we could get started.
Yeah, let's do it.
Great.
So welcome. We're really glad you guys are all here. One of the reasons why we put this workshop together, it's been a very crazy year, crazy even I would say 18 months or so. And I think one thing that we can all take away from that, and one thing that we all learned, is how valuable life is, and how important love is, and how much we need leadership from you, from us. And so we feel like it's really important at this point just to take a step back, take a breath, step away from the busyness of life for a little bit, and think about what matters most. Because we care about all of you guys and your well-being, Heather, Stewart, and McCraney and I have gotten together to create this free workshop series called Getting Your Shit Together, which I think we can all relate to, which is why we're here. So today you'll learn some simple tools to help you think about and improve your physical health. This meeting is being recorded, and Heather and I are the only ones that will be on video. So feel free to do whatever it is you want to do to relax, eat your lunch, cuddle with your pets and your kids, and whatever else it is that you want to do. It's totally fine. Just settle in and relax while we chat. If you have any questions or comments, you can put them in the chat, and Heather will be taking a look at those as she's chatting with Anne today and making sure that those questions get asked. I'm Kristie Hill. I'm a financial advisor, passionate about working with busy women and helping them to achieve their financial goals and their version of financial success. Heather Stewart over here, a lot of you know, she is also passionate about working with busy women, and is a leadership and career coach. And today's presenter is Anne McCraney, who's a personal trainer, licensed massage therapist, and nutrition coach. That's a lot of things. She loves helping busy women build strength and improve flexibility and reduce stress so that they can look and feel their best. In her workshop, we're going to be discussing common misconceptions about how best to take care of our physical bodies. So I'm going to hand this over to Heather, who's going to run this interview. As I mentioned, Heather will be taking a look at the chat box. If you have any questions, just leave those in there, and I'll hand it over to you, Heather.
Great. Thanks, Kristie. And I will also note that at any moment, my internet could crash. I was having some issues this morning, so that's why we were saying could be called Getting Your Internet Shit Together. So I did restart the router. It seems to be working better, but I just want to mention that if things go a little awry, Kristie will take over asking the interview questions of Anne. And so Anne, I think you wanted to start us again with a little meditation.
Always a good place to start. Yes, sitting and breathing. So if you would humor me and find a comfortable place to sit, and if you're comfortable closing your eyes, close your eyes and listen to the sound of my voice. And just notice your breath coming and going. You might even say to yourself, breathing in and breathing out. You can notice your feet on the floor. You can notice your legs or hips or back resting on the chair. And just do a sort of general scan and notice if there's any muscular tension anywhere, if there's any to-do list or thoughts or ideas that are popping around your brain. And then just see if you can let any thoughts or body sensations just be there resting in the background. So you can come back to all of your emails you need to take care of and whatever else is on your list for today in half an hour. But could you create a little space for yourself right now to be really present with us and carve out some time for yourself? And then think about how you tend to move your body during the day or during the course of an entire week. Think about all the things that you do, from walking your dog, playing with your kids or grandkids. How much time do you spend seated How much time do you spend moving? And then do you have targeted exercises that you do? Maybe you go to a fitness class. And just picture, what are some really fun things for you? Maybe walking the dog is your fun activity, or meeting a girlfriend for a walk. What are things you enjoy doing? And picture how you feel when you do those things. And then picture the best version of you. What would that be? And that could be what's happening right now. It could be 6 months or a year from now. What would your day look like? How early would you wake up? Who would you be spending your time with? How would you be moving your body? Really get a clear picture of this. What kind of foods are you eating? What kind of news are you taking in? Do you read the news? Do you go to certain websites? How are you feeding your body? And then I have a little fill in the blanks we're going to try together. So I'm going to say this and then give an example of what I mean, and then say it again. As a blank, I want to blank so that I can blank. So an example that one of my ladies gave me when we did this month was, as a busy working mom, I want to eat healthy so that I can set a good example for my teenage daughter. So I'll say again, as a blank, I want to blank so that I can blank. So I'll give you another minute to just let these words marinate. You could write notes. You could put a little note in the chat box. If anything popped out for you. And then whenever you're ready, you can slowly open your eyes, maybe look around the room, yawn, stretch a little bit. And I appreciate you sitting with me for a few minutes.
I love it. Thanks, Anne. I remember the first time you asked me as a blank, I want a blank, and I thought, is this the Match Game? I think that's the old show that used to have her blank was with his blank something. I don't know. Anyway, okay. So we will get to the interview. So I've worked with Anne now for a few years, and some of the questions that I put together were kind of some basic ones that I remember I have had for her, either in the beginning or I always find it as a good reminder along the way. So Anne, I know part of the name of your company has the word fluid and movement in it. So I'd be curious if you could tell us, how do you define the difference between movement and exercise?
Great question, Heather. So literally the definition of movement is changing your physical location or position. And exercise is designed as an activity requiring physical effort carried out for a specific purpose. So how I think of those are movement, walking the dog, going for a walk, going to your cardio session, doing strength training, doing mobility work. Exercise is squats, lunges, push-ups. So the exercise portion is a small part that is included in movement. And I think when we think of like fitness trainers, yoga classes, whatever, we think of the exercise portion, or as a culture, that is what we really value. And we don't really value the movement aspect as much. So I like to emphasize that with my ladies. And a good example of this is my best girlfriend came over yesterday morning, and her 3-year-old was sick. So she had to keep him out of preschool. He wasn't sick. I think he just wanted to stay home with his mommy, which was fine. So she and I went for a walk with him on his bike. And she said at the time, this is not the exercise walk that I had thought we were going to get in. This is more of we got to visit. And she goes, but that's okay. I'm going to do a 10-minute HIIT workout after the kids get out of their bath tonight. Like I'm going to carve out some time. So movement not to be discounted. And can we get all of these pieces together? Can we have an intense workout? Can we have a gentle stretching session?
Yeah. And thinking about movement and exercise, I love to be efficient. And so honestly, my go-to is always, can I go for a half-hour walk? Used to be go for a half-hour run. I've learned since then my body doesn't really appreciate running all that much. So I'm curious, if I'm going for regular walks, is that enough strength for my legs so that when I'm doing a strength workout, I can just concentrate on my like arms and shoulders?
First of all, hooray for your regular walks and running. Heather sends me a progress report about how many steps she's gotten pretty often, like her steps for the day, steps for the week. And that's great. Cardiovascular strength, muscular strength, movement. Walking is a version of a twist. So it's juicing up all your joints and your spine. That is not the same thing as squats and lunges and resistance training. So for all of my walkers and runners, I always encourage them to also do leg and hip strength and mobility, because you need that as part of this whole picture that I was talking about of mobility, strength, cardio, getting all this stuff. So it's good for your mental health. It's great to be outdoors, and you still got to do squats and lunges for bone density, muscular strength, being able to do all the things we want to do. Now, if you did say, I want a little tricep exercise, I got a 7-minute tricep video that I just uploaded last month. So that's on my YouTube channel. So if you wanted a targeted specific workout, you could very much have arm day or leg day or a day that you just walk. But looking at this whole big picture of what am I getting to during the week or the month, I'd say walking is to be included with the strength training.
Yeah. Well, of course, I knew you were going to answer that way because that was one of the first things that we ever talked about. And what I can say is my body in general feels so much better because I'm not just focusing on these few muscles. I'm doing all of them so that one muscle doesn't have to overcompensate for the other. So thank you, Anne. So let's talk about veggies. Now, I like the idea of veggies. I also like the idea of really good, different types of yummy veggie dishes. And what I know about myself is I am a creature of habit, number one. And two, by the end of the day, I'm like decision fatigue. I can't even go through this. Gotta look, what do I have? So it's either a salad that goes with dinner, typically for me, or a potato, which I know that it's a vegetable, but it's probably not one of the best vegetables. And or just having salad or a potato, like it's all the same thing. So I'm curious, like how do you help people start to think about how could I add a little bit more veggies to my day?
Right. And I think you talked about a little bit of this in the career coaching last week of small changes, right? So you're not going to revamp your entire diet. If your family hates broccoli and you made them a vegan dinner with mostly broccoli, right? That's not going to go over well. Can you work in little bits here and there? So planning and prepping, and then reevaluating your plan. So over the weekend, we're in the middle of a nutrition challenge right now. We're in the last week of it. And so a lot of my ladies are doing meal planning on the weekend, chopping up all their veggies. So when you open the refrigerator, there's a bunch of beautiful washed, cut veggies ready to go. If you can make this easy on yourself, if you've got to do a bunch of steps to get to a healthy dinner and you could pick up the phone and call for takeout, this is easy, right? But if you've got everything prepped, maybe you pre-cooked some rice, pre-steamed your veg, maybe you've got stuff in the crock pot that morning, or something that's easy, that's not this super challenging thing to do. And then getting your family involved. You could quiz your family and go, hey, give me 2 things that I know that you guys are going to enjoy. Like if you hate broccoli, can we do some cauliflower? Can we have a spinach salad? Salad's a great way to work in some veggie sides. And there's nothing wrong with a potato. Potatoes are good. They have lots of good vitamins too. Typically what I notice with me and with my ladies, it's the green leafies that we fall down on. So I like to think of where could I get extra green? And when I say green leafies, your broccolis, your kales, your cabbages, your spinach, those kinds of things. Can I put some with my eggs in the morning? Can I add an extra side of veggies to something that I already enjoy? So take a thing that you already like and just add a little bit of veggie here and there. And avocado counts, but really the green leafies, and those I think are the ones that are the hardest to get in.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you reminding me about the small steps from my video last week, because what I can tell, because I'm part of the challenge, the nutrition challenge, because I did want to get more vegetables. And if I think about, oh, I've added more vegetables now to my dinners, it's just not 7 days a week, which is what I wanted to do, which is not a small step. Thank you for that. So as we're talking about food, let's talk about something you call movement snacks. I know most of the ladies on here are just sitting in front of a computer, and then by the time we get up, it's like, oh my God, I gotta stretch out the back, and we're making noises like we're, we're tired already. So what are some of your top movement snacks that we could maybe easily start to work into our day?
Great question. So I feel like a lot of what I've been reading about lately is like the perfect posture or the perfect way or a stand-up desk, right? The perfect posture, I heard this quote recently, is your next posture. Meaning, if you have the most expensive stand-up desk and you have an ergonomics person come show you exactly how to place your arm and you are in this position for 8 hours a day, your body is going to feel like garbage. If you have a stand-up desk and what that allows you to do is take a walk to the sink and get some water, go downstairs, stand up, sit down, maybe fold some laundry during the day. If you can move around your space and be in a different position, I think your body will feel better at the end of the day. So it's not that we want to be in one position. The longer you're in one position, the more sticky and sort of congested everything gets. So a good example of how can I do that sitting at my desk, I'm standing right now, but if you were in a chair, which I'm guessing most of you ladies are, a hip hinge. So a really basic folding forward and then either standing up or sitting up. So I just folded forward at my hips and then went to sitting upright in my chair, which if you stood all the way up would be a squat, right? So sitting in your chair, standing up. So that could be your movement or your exercise. That's a nice one, either a hip hinge or a squat. And then a nice spine twist with your upper body focus. We do this one a lot in class, where you open one arm out to the side and you can look at your hand. So y'all can do this right now with me if you want, or you just watch me do a couple each side, twisting your upper body. So that's some nice spine mobility. And I'm really thinking about my torso and my shoulders getting in on that twist. And then desert cactus, one of my favorite chest stretches. So if you have a doorway, imagine this is a doorway, I could stand in a doorway and really gently start to lean forward. But even just doing this right now, I can feel a little stretch in my chest, because I bet what happens during the day is I get tired, I'm mousing, I'm looking at the screen, and then all of this just becomes contracted. So my solution to that would be get up and move around, incorporate some of these strength, mobility, and flexibility aspects to your day.
Yeah, I love it. My neck gets, so doing this is an easy one that I can remember to do. Yeah, like it. I like those snacks. So what, Fit Club. So you've got a shirt on that says Fit Club. Tell us about Fit Club, because you can talk about Fit Club.
You can't. The first rule of Fit Club, do tell everyone you know about Fit Club.
Yeah.
So in August 2020, I started this subscription program. And basically, it's anyone that works with me on a regular basis, from one-on-one strength training, massage therapy, live Zoom fitness classes, yoga, Pilates, bar, energy flow. And then everybody that's subscribed to Fit Club gets videos once a week in their inbox. So these could be short, like what I just showed. Maybe it's shoulder mobility work. I did that tricep video recently. If I have requests, sometimes I'll do something based on, one of my ladies has bunions. So I just shot a bunion video that was about 7 minutes long, a 60-minute Pilates class. So there'll be short or long videos that you can then watch at your leisure. And then I do a meditation each month. And those are usually 5 to 20 minutes, depending, like we did in the beginning of this meeting. So something where you're sitting and listening to your breath. And so then you've got the option of one-on-one time with me, meeting with a group, which is really a lot of my ladies, that's the group dynamic is really what part of the benefit of, anybody can take you through some squats or a yoga routine, but I have this group of women that are all, how's your husband? What about this? Here's so-and-so's cat walking across the yoga mat, right? So that's a large portion of these Zoom classes is just the culture that we've created of these people that care about each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think what I have loved about the regular videos is if I miss a class or if I'm away, whatever, I have the option to do an hour class, or I could do a 7 minutes of shoulder before my next client, or I can roll around the floor and do some stretching before. So I think that's been really helpful to see those. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
And I'll often have a lady just text me and go, hey, I'm stuck at work. Will you record the class tonight? And then I just push the recording out. So sometimes it's recordings that only the people that were in that class, because not everybody wants to be on video, right? So a lot of it is just, or I can clip out the portions that are just me. So I'm trying to find a balance of privacy and then also creating this community. And like you said, having these resources for, remember I was talking earlier about have your plan, have your backup plan. And if everything goes to shit, can you do 5 minutes of something?
Yeah, exactly. So we have about 7-8 minutes left. I wanted to see if you wanted to talk a little bit about this R.O.S thing that you have, R.O.S.S, because I think it's a really cool concept for exercise and movement.
Thanks. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is actually a trademark, my movement manifesto, I call it, that I came up with maybe about 10 years ago. One of my ladies in my yoga class, I was explaining why we don't start with, say, a deep forward fold as our first exercise. And so the point of structuring our exercises, our training sessions, our classes in this manner is injury prevention, greater mobility, connecting your brain and your body. So R.O.S stands for release, organize, strengthen, and then stretch. And so what that would look like if you came to a class, we might start with baby bear, where we roll on the floor and release our neck and back and hips. And then an organization exercise could be your bird dogs, your dead bugs, where you're getting those small muscles to kick in and your brain's like, ooh, we're about to do some work. Everybody get ready. Then your strength, your squats, your lunges, your push-ups. If you're in Pilates, your hundreds maybe, your chair pose in yoga, holding a plank. And then flexibility work at the end when you are already warm. You're just going to have more success and be able to gain more mobility and flexibility if you're stretching warm tissue rather than cold. So injury prevention and just everything works better in that order. And it could be if I'm training a client and we're focusing on strength, 80% of the session is strength. Our Monday yoga class has now become 30 minutes of the 60 minutes is flexibility work, because that's what my people want on a Monday night. It's like, oof, just got back to a work week, stressful day. So that was what benefits them. So you could give different amounts of time to each thing, but that order, even one release exercise, one organization, couple of strengths. So that'd be a nice way too to structure your home workout. If you were like, I've got 8 minutes, what can I do? Baby bear, bird dog, squat, plank, and a hamstring stretch.
Yeah, I like it. It's been helpful for me in injury prevention, that's for sure. So I think we might have had 1 or 2 people come in late. Could you just quickly do your 3 movement snacks again?
Oh, yes, of course.
Yeah.
So your hip hinge or squat, which could be going from a seated position to standing. If you know squats, deadlifts, those are, and hip hinge is part of those moves. And then we talked about doing a thoracic rotation, a seated twist, where you could just from your chair reach your arm back and follow your hand with your gaze. And then desert cactus, one of my favorite chest stretches, which you can do in a doorway or just in this position, holding for a couple of breaths.
Yeah, cool. Thanks, Anne. So that's all we have. If anyone has any questions or comments or anything, feel free to put those in the chat box, and I'll let Kristie shepherd us out.
Yeah, just thanks for everybody. Thanks, Anne. I mean, that was really, I took away some things, and I hope everybody else did as well. And are you going to be sending a follow-up email to everyone?
Yes, I have a little questionnaire that I'm going to send out, which is basically what the meditation I took y'all through of how am I moving my body? How am I feeding my body? How am I taking good care of me? So those are some nice questions, as Heather was talking about last week, of just assessing your situation and going, what's happening? What are my life priorities, as Heather's list was, but this is the same thing, but physical, mental health. So anyway, that's going to come out this week. And then everybody that signed up, my offer is a free month of Fit Club videos. So you just sit back and relax, and these will land in your inbox. Each week you get a new video.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, cool. So be on the lookout for that from Anne. Thanks, you guys. I know life is busy, so just being able to be here with us for 30 minutes means a lot. We understand how much that takes to get here. So thank you, and you guys enjoy the rest of your week, and we'll see you next week if you have the time and you can make it happen. I'll be talking about just some financial planning tips and tricks and things like that. So it should be fun.
Yes.
See you back here next week.